This is the fifth in a series of in-depth tutorials on working with WebPublish, the website and web document authoring tool from Airset. In this lesson, we will cover working with areas, selecting an area and setting its properties, and selecting the parent area of a subdivided area to make changes. Returning to the bakery website we are using for this tutorial, we are still working on the layout template page that defines the style and structure for pages on the site. Opening the layout page for editing and clicking on the View Page Layout checkbox, we see the structure view of the page. To select an area, click on it. Note the color change to indicate selection. Click on the Area Settings button to bring up the Area Settings dialog. Note that so far we have not customized this area. The font styles and background color we see come from the page settings, page styles, or area settings of the parent area prior to the subdivision. Remember that in Lesson 2, we subdivided an area to create the 3 sub-areas for the banner, menu, and content. Note that the Page Layout dialog sizing section shows the size of the currently selected area, as well as the other 2 areas that are part of the parent area subdivision, the menu and banner areas. Clicking on an area a second time selects the parent area. Note that the highlight changes to span the subdivided areas. The sizing changes to show the size property for the parent area. And the Area Settings dialog shows the parent area settings made in Lesson 2 prior to splitting this area. Best of all, you can use this to go back and modify parent area settings. For example, to change from the rounded corners of the current design to a straight edge border, we can edit the frame properties of the parent area to remove the frame. And then click on the border link and set a border. Now the page has straight corners. While you can only select a parent area in the structure view, you can select a single area while in the page view by clicking on it. You can then click in the Area Settings button to bring up the Area Settings dialog. This is useful for setting things like the margins because you can see the effect relative to text on the page. For example, we'll set top and bottom margins of 10 pixels and left and right margins of 20. Note when you're in Structure View, margins are shown with a green highlight. Remember that any area represents either a horizontal or vertical split of its parent area. For example, if I click in the menu area, it is a vertical split of a parent content area created in Lesson 1. So the area dimensions set in the Page Layout dialog are the height of the menu area. Note that it is not possible to change the width of just the menu area. To change the width, we need to click as many times as necessary to reach the parent area that was a horizontal split. In this case, it takes 3 clicks to get to the parent area that defined the top level central content area. Now the size field shows the width of this horizontal split. Let's make the main content area wider to illustrate how this works. In addition to managing area dimensions in the Page Layout dialog, and using the Area Settings dialog to set properties like the default font, margins, background color, background image, and border frame for an area, you can also override the page styles set in Lessons 3 and 4 by using the Area Styles dialog available from the Page Area Styles menu on the Edit toolbar. Note that the Area Styles dialog looks just like the Page Styles dialog. You can override any of the page style options for the currently selected area. For this design, we will not override these styles. Congratulations! You now know the basics of working with areas in WebPublish. To summarize what we learned in this lesson, the best way to work with areas, and the only way to change the properties of a subdivided parent area, is to open the page for editing and click View Page Layout on the Edit toolbar, and use the Structure View option on the Page Layout dialog. Click on an area once to select it. You can then click on the Area Settings button in the Page Layout dialog to bring up the Area Settings dialog and set properties for the area. Click on an area twice to select the parent area that was subdivided to create this area. The Area Settings dialog will show the properties of the parent area, and all of the sub-areas will be highlighted. The Size field in the Page Layout dialog shows the size of the currently selected area or parent area. The dimension of the split orientation is set here. For example, when first splitting the page, if the split orientation is horizontal, then the width of the area is set. If you split an area vertically, then the height of the area is set. The page style settings, such as headings, link, image, and list styling, set in lessons 3 and 4, can be overridden for an area using the Area Styles dialog available from the Page menu on the Edit toolbar. Finally, while it is not illustrated in this lesson, it is worth noting that areas are rendered from the bottom up. For example, if you have set a page background graphic and then split the page into 3 areas and set an area background image for the central area, this image will appear on top of the page background image. If you then subdivide the central area and set a background image for one of the new sub-areas, that image will appear on top of the central background image, which appears on top of the page image.